Hi, I'm Laurence Tham from LaurenceTham.com. A couple of things I want to ask you. Is it time to rethink and rebuild your team? Well, have a think about that. In this time right now, there's no better time to rethink this whole entire process. I want to have a conversation around this because this is not an easy conversation to have, but I think it's an important conversation for you if you're a chiropractor and have a business. I think is something that we need to think about. Why? Well, let's face it. The idea of you running a business and a practice is the whole point is that you want to grow it, you want to have a profit, and you want to be able to create some freedom in your life. That's why we do this, right? Of course, you're there to have a business so that you can help and impact more people. I mean, that's our why. And in order for us to do that and run a business, we actually have to be able to aim to have a profit, right? Which is the value you create into the world, and also be able to create the freedom to do that. So if that's the case, then we need to have the right team. Now, in this whole COVID experience and this crisis, what would have happened is that it forced a lot of businesses across the world, including a lot of my clients, to either adapt or change or shut down their practice. And what that does, it forces you to evaluate how you have to think about life and how you need to think about what's going on. And so what challenges that you're experiencing right now is that you got to think about how that affects you. And what I mean by that is that as you move forward, as you start to move towards this elements of change, is that what ends up happening is you see three different types of people come up. That's what I've noticed. And the three types of people that come up is really the types of people there's three levels of players. There's A players, there's B players, and C players. A players are what you'll find is that there's players who rise above your expectation. Those are the people who actually went above and beyond what you expected of them. Those are awesome. Those are the staff members that I'm hearing that are willing to take a pay cut. They're willing to not even get paid, but willing to work for the cause, to help you make sure that you have a business of existence in the future so that they actually have a job to come back to. Those are A players. The C players, which is the exact opposite ends, are players who are really kind of sink below expectation. The people you think should be rising above aren't. And they're actually, if anything, they're actually going well below that. And the conversation there is about those people I've seen is that people are asking for a pay raise, right? A pay raise during this period of time. And you, as a business owner, you'd be thinking like, what are they even thinking? Do they not understand we're heading into a possible recession or a depression and we're asking for a pay raise? That is selfish thinking. And there's the B players. The B players are there floating in the middle, just hoping that things are going to just, will do what's necessary, but nothing above and beyond. Listen, at the end of the day is that if you're going to build a successful team, you need to think about A players. You need to think about how are A players going to show up and where are those A players and who on your team is an A player who are willing to have a cause. Now, obviously you need to create that. But the first thing to create that is you need to have that right hiring process. And the thing is we got to understand is that we need to know who they are and how do they activate. The B players, they're sort of 50-50. The question you need to ask yourself is, can I train them to become an A player or do I have to let them go? The C players are really simple. The C player here is that they have to go if you want to have a successful, profitable, and freedom practice, because they can't help you get to where you want to go. If anything, they're actually going to be your anchors. They're the ones who slow you down. They're the ones who you complain continuously about. The question is that this crisis has shown you their true colors. The hard part for you as the business owner and the leader in this position is, are you willing to make the right hard call? The hard call is, are you willing to make the decision, right, moving forward, or to let them go, or are you going to continue to complain moving forward? That's the tough decision. And this is why this is a difficult conversation. But every business experiences through this. The challenge, of course, is that you have to either have two choices: to suffer long-term and complain, or deal with the hard, immediate thing that you have to make the call that they're not the right fit. The challenges are for you is to make those tough decisions. I'm not suggesting it's the same decision for everybody. Of course, you need to identify who the A, B, and C players are. A players are easy. You want to keep them and you want to figure out, how do I hire more of them? The B players are the most difficult one, because you need to then figure out is how, if and how can I elevate them to the next level? And if whether or not they are going to be there. And how I can help you with that is to think forward. Think forward in the future and go, in the next year or 2 years, are they the right team members or players that will help you get to where you want to go? If the answer is no, then I think you need to start thinking. You need to start thinking about how long do you willing to carry them forward before you're willing to let them go. Because what you don't want is anchors. What you want is movers and shakers who help you build a stronger team culture to help you move forward, because B and C players only drag A players down. The third thing you want to consider here is this. In this crisis, what has happened is that it actually created a movement of people who have lost their jobs in almost every industry. But more importantly, the hospitality industry. You think about how many airlines, the restaurant business, and hotels have lost their jobs. What does that mean for you, and why is that important? Well, that's important for you is because they're the types of people typically a practice wants. People-friendly people who take care of amazing people, who has the skills and experience to take care and be a concierge for your clients. Isn't that what you typically want to hire for? And when you want to hire these people, typically, well, the good people, the A players, always have a job. Have you ever noticed that? What are the chances of an A player never having a job? If you're an A player watching this, you know you've never been jobless. If anything, you've always had a job because you just moved from one job to another, and there are always improvements. This is the only time in the world where A players actually have no jobs, and they're right there for the taking. But you have to learn to get rid of B and C players to be able to hire A players, and A players are there. They are ready for you to take because they are forced out of their jobs, not because they were fired, because they just didn't have the opportunity because of hospitality. And you have this perfect opportunity right now to take that advantage of that. I hate to say take advantage, but unfortunately they are there, which means that they are in the perfect position for you to interview them and hire them and improve your team. This is the best way to improve your team, is to be able to grab the free agents, in the sense, or like a sports analogy, is that they're readily available and they're willing to work and they're willing to improve your team. If you are looking towards on how to grow and be a more profitable team, this is the time. There won't be another opportunity, because once everything starts to go back to normal, you're going to lose that opportunity, because these players are not going to last very long. A player never lasts in the environment of employment because they always find a position. The B's and C players, if you're watching this, you need to step up. And that's the truth. And unfortunately, it may hurt. This sucks as a leader, but that's what leaders have to do. Leaders have to make difficult decisions. But if you don't make those difficult decisions, then you have to learn to live with the consequences, which means you can't complain in the future. So I hope this has been helpful for you to understand the process of what you need to do to build a profitable practice. You need to build your squad. The squad has to be of A players if you want to elevate to the next level. You can't complain about why you're not growing and your staff, your associates, your CAs are not doing what they're supposed to do. That's simply because you might have not hired them for the right positions. And let's take it as self-responsibility that you didn't do that, and move on. And that's what you have to make those decisions as a leader. If you are a leader right now watching this, go and have a think about it. Number one is, what's the vision am I trying to build? Number two, who is going to help me get and achieve that vision? Not the current team, but the team that's actually going, that I can see that's going to help me get to this vision. And then three is, where are they and how do I hire them? I'm Laurence Tham. I hope this has been helpful. If we want to look for help with this, go to laurencetam.com. Hope that this has been helpful for you to guide you to become more profitable. Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't already done so, that subscribe button, you should press it. And because I want to share videos with you just like this one to help you grow your practice.